okay, right. Well, before Ellie gets here, just so you know, this is the 5th book. Now, it's exactly the same size as the other ones. So you can make any combination of these that you want to for your book. But the difference with this one is that it's more like sort of like a poly... Oh, you can tell I haven't finished it. Oops. Let's just keep that shut, shall we? This is... Hi, Anne. This is like a policy envelope style, so you can pop stuff in here. Because when I showed you originally, and I showed you my my book that belonged to my grandmother, it's full of, like, you know, newspaper cuttings and very big flap smell. You know, newspaper cuttings and stuff. And I thought it would be nice to still keep stuff like that. But obviously it's not going to fit into the stacked pockets very easily because, you know, it's just ordinary paper. So this was the theory behind this book. So it's exactly the same. It's just that oh, okay. So I haven't finished this yet. But it's exactly the same. It's just that it's all, oh dear, and I've glued that. It's just all sort of like policy envelope style, you see, rather than the stacked pockets. But otherwise, it's exactly the same size and everything. Now, Jenny quite rightly pointed out that I haven't actually showed you how to put the hinges in from last week, which was a little bit naughty, wasn't it? So we'll do that. Oh, Laurie, where are you? -30. That is chilly. I lived in Germany for a couple of years, and we had a -40, which was so cold it wasn't even cold anymore, I have to say. But -30, I would imagine, I'm going to take a guess and say Canada, and I'm going to say that it's -30 quite a lot, so you're quite used to it. -19 with Diana. Oh my goodness. The coldest, I thought so. I wasn't too far off. I had a feeling it might be Canada. The coldest that it's ever been in the UK was in I saw this story the other day. It's got to be like the early 80s. And it was in the town that I actually grew up in and went to school in Shropshire. And they showed it and all the snow. And, you know, you see all that snow and you think about how different it is now. Because the kids today, they don't have snow like we had snow. And I'm not just saying that because there is photographic evidence. You know, yes, when I was a youngster. But it really is. There was loads more snow in those days. It's just that we don't have it. So I presume it's global warming. Right, now the other one thing that I didn't tell you last week was keep your bits, the bits that you've cut off. If they're over 1 inch wide, keep them. I forgot to tell you that. Sorry, my bad. You lived in Alaska for 8 years. I remember reading, I must have been at school. I remember reading somewhere, I think it was about, I have a feeling it was somewhere in Russia. I think it was Vladivostok or somewhere. I don't know, I can't remember. But anyway, it was minus something horrendous. And somebody said that they'd walked off the plane, and as they'd walked from the warmth of the plane into the coldness of the air, it was that cold that the air that they breathed out froze immediately and just kind of tinkled to the floor. And that's what I imagine Alaska is like, Tracy. Is it like that? I don't know. Are you near the sea, Jane? Hi, Sue. Got to get my books right now. I'm quite happily messing with the wrong book here. As you can tell, I haven't done my homework. But it doesn't matter for me to show you how the hinges go in. I'm missing a bit. I'm missing quite a lot of bits, actually. Oh no, I knew I shouldn't have tidied up.
So much of a good tidy up.
Oh, darn it. They've got to be with these other bits then that I've lost. I've lost my hinges as well. Hang on. I wish you... Actually, no, I don't wish you could see the other side of my desk.
No.
Because it's a bit of a mess. I'll I've got about 6 books on the go at the moment. And I haven't finished any of them. Well, this is bad. I haven't got my hinges, and I haven't got... I did score them last week, didn't I?
I have no idea.
I'm sure I did. Oops. Well, this is bad. I'll tell you what I'll do. Jenny, what we're going to do is we're going to make this book up, because this is going to be dead quick. And the hinges in this book are exactly the same as the hinges in this book. So once we've put this one together, you'll figure out how this one goes together. I think that's going to be the quickest option. Okay, right. Just let me read what Jill said. Let's go down the dip. Snow drifted. I remember walking home from school with the junior school. So how old's that? That's probably, it was under 11, isn't it? It's between about 8 and 11. And the drifts were so high. You couldn't walk through them.
Ellie's in.
Oh, is Ellie here? Oh, yes. Hi, Axel. Oh, I can't tell my story.
We used to jump out our bedroom window into the snowdrift in the garden.
Did you?
Yeah.
Good grief. Can't say we did, but then again, we weren't quite as adventurous as that. Right, okay, so yeah, story time when Axel's gone to bed.
General consensus is you didn't do the hinges.
No, oh, we didn't even cut them. All right, so okay, what we'll do then in that case is if we make this book up, the whole of it tonight, then you can go off and decorate it, but I will show you how to do the hinges on this, and they're exactly the same on every book. So I would suggest that we just make this one, and then you can go back and it'll be perfectly clear how you do the others. Right, okay, so let's start off. No, I know I didn't put them together, but I thought I'd cut them out. Never mind. Right, we're going to start, if we do the other book, and then, I've lost my trimmer. What the, oh, it's there. Ah! What's it doing over there?
Oh, I'll put
I
it there.
didn't put it there. Oh.
And I was looking for some...
Please note, we still haven't mended my...
No, we keep...
My... Right. Ladies, grab card. Okay.
And that's today.
Do you have a good day at school, Axel? Right, tell the story, he will be oblivious. Oh, I don't know. Right, okay. As you know, Ellie's getting married, right? Because she showed her fa-la-la folio in the group, didn't she? With the paper that she got, the pumpkin paper. And it got me thinking about when Mark and I got married and going to wedding fairs. You know this. You know which story I'm going to tell, don't you? About
yes. Yes.
So I went with Mark and a friend of mine to this particular wedding fair, and when we walked in, you know, they take the details of the bride, and we got a goodie bag. And I have never, ever, ever forgotten what they gave me in this goodie bag, because there was a pack of intimate wipes. And I just think, why? What were they? No, I don't want to know what they were for. I know what they were for. But don't you think that is the most bizarrest thing to put in a bride's goodie bag? Anyway, Ellie, I hope you have as much fun at wedding fairs as we did. Actually, we didn't, did we? They were awful. They're enough to make you, to put you off getting married,
Once
quite
you've gone to
frankly.
one, you've been to them all.
Yes. And then there was this, was it, oh, what were they called? The people that make you lose weight. Weight Watchers. They were there, right? And I just looked at this woman out of the corner of my eye. She didn't speak to us, did she? She wouldn't have dared. I think that's despicable. I just don't think that should be allowed. But that's just my opinion. Anyway, let's cut two at 6 1/4 by 11 inches.
Wet wipe and some mouthwash. Says
Oh my goodness me. No.
What's 2?
Cut 2 at 6 1/4 inches by 11 inches. That story was much funnier at the time. It obviously isn't quite so funny now, but it was much hilarity. I kept them.
Yeah, you've still got them somewhere.
They are. They're in the top drawer in the bathroom, just because they made me laugh. Right, so we're cutting 2 at 6 1/4 by 11, and 2 at 6 3/4 by 11. There's something not right here. Oh, I haven't put it underneath. Oh, God. It's been one of those weeks, though, hasn't it? Nothing has gone according to plan. Right. Shut up. At least I knew it wasn't straight.
What's this lumpy?
Shut up. 2 at 6 3/4 by 11. Otherwise, I'll make you marry me again.
I'll do that tomorrow.
Oh, bless you. 6 3/4 by 11.
Intimate ropes.
Do you know what? I've just been looking at that, thinking this is a really stupid design, because that's going to happen. Because there's a lip there, so of course it's never going to be straight. So why did they design it like that? What is the matter with me? Don't answer that.
Lists are being compiled. Joe.
Did you guys hear what he just said? Mel wrote a song about tortillas. Oh, no. Don't you start. Don't you start. We have enough of this from Bri.
Oh, dear.
Right. 4 at 6 1/4 by 10.
Tracy Peterson says she has a very sweet story about Valentine's Day.
Oh, tell us. Mark can read it out while I cut these. What did he say? He said he's compiling a list of things that what? No, I don't remember what you're compiling a list about.
Nothing there?
No, you do.
Reasons I'm nothing. I think it was.
It wasn't reasons you love me, cheeky sod. 6 1/4 by 10, and we need 4 of those, and I genuinely don't know how many I've cut. Yeah, I know, but I don't know how many I've cut already.
Oh, you haven't even said that.
I have!
Yeah.
6 1/4 by 10, and we need 4 of them.
Oh. I must have stepped out the room.
1, 2, 3. Right, 6 1/4 by 10. 4 of those.
Anyway, Tracy's story.
Tracy's story. Go on then.
Okay, my renewal ceremony was exactly 1 year after I had breast cancer. It was on the parking lot of a used car lot, and I wore the long white dress and everything.
Okay, the first question I have about that, Tracy, is
Well, still.
why the
Randy
parking
said
lot?
he wanted the world to know that he didn't care that I didn't have breasts anymore. He'd marry me all over again in front of a group of strangers.
Oh my God, how romantic is that? Oh, that is so lovely. I hope you're making a Valentine's book for him. That's the sort of thing you'd do. Oh, that's so lovely. Oh, I'm not going to be able to concentrate now. Oh. No, that's just so lovely. Has he got a brother? I'm sure I've got a single friend that we could, keep forgetting I'm married.
That's easy to. I've been trying to forget for years.
Oh my God, you are in so much trouble.
Thank you.
Tracy, that is absolutely beautiful. Oh. Right. should we cut these hinges while we're here? I want you to cut 2 at 2.5 by 10. Oh, that's so lovely.
He's one of a kind.
He's always been just my roommate, Ellie. Actually, no, that's not true. 2.5 by 10. I'm trying to think of a more endearing term. You're the one person who seems to keep me sane. Oh, because Mel doesn't help. You'll have...
She's too busy rapping.
You will have gussets. We're going to have 2 different size gussets, and we're going to have 6 flaps, so it's all good. Right, 2.5 by 10 and 3 by 10. Oh, for goodness sake. Is anybody actually making a head and a tail of this? Right, our hinges, 3 by 10, 2.5 by 10, 2.5 by 10. Cool.
10 by 3.
Yes. Right, now we're going to cut the flaps for the top of the envelope. We might as well just cut it all while we're here. Which are 5.5 by 6.25 inches. So we need 6 of those. So 5.5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. What's she done?
I've decided to sell my Hoover today. It was just collecting dust.
Oh my God, she's as bad as you. Mark's taken to telling me dad jokes at night in bed. And you know what? It's really not... It makes me feel all funny inside and not in a good way. Oh, story, Lorraine. What she said. My hubby is a biker. Oh, good. We like him already. Married couples bike like in a diamond shape. Oh, no way. Oh, Ellie, I hope you're taking notes. Oh, that's lovely, Lorraine. Oh my God, a biker. And you're a Rupert fan. Wow. Oh, I've missed out on the conversation here. I always miss out. I'll have to go back and read it at the end. I dread to think what Ellie and Dee are talking about, apart from that stupid drinking game, which I always miss out on. Right, okay, lastly, this is the last lot. We're going to cut 6 at 7.5 by 7.25. So 7.5 by 7.25. I think I did that right. Are they both? Yeah, 7.5 by 7.25. And we want 6 of those. Right. 7.5 by 7.25.
Uh-oh, I need to tell a story.
Who's going to tell a story? Go on, Ellie. We should do this on Friday for Valentine's. Are you coming on Friday, Tracy? Because you can tell that story again. We can tell plenty of stories about Mel, about how long-suffering her husband is, considering she puts jam and cream on her scones the wrong way around. Come on, Ellie, type quicker. Mind you, our wedding was an experience, wasn't it, dear?
I don't remember being there.
dress. I wasn't going to have a proper wedding dress, but I did. Last minute. And unfortunately, the mistake that I made was saying that my sister was going to help me get in it, when I should have had the lady who sold me the dress, who was lovely, and she did offer, but you know, I just said, it's all right, don't worry, I'll have my sister. Anyway, it nearly got X-rated a couple of times because I'm not a small girl in that department, and the dress was quite tight. In fact, Rachel had to put me in it, didn't she, when we got to the registry office? And goodness me. Right, when I first met Ant, I didn't fancy him at all. Oh. It wasn't until I had had a rubbish day, I'm reading this out because Axel's here, got upset and stormed out of the pub, that his mate followed me and said, Ellie, you've got to come back. Ant's got something to show you. TMI! So I walked down to the takeaway, which had big floor-to-ceiling windows, and there was Ant waving and smiling like a goon. Then he pulled down his pants and stuck his bum up against the glass. And that's when I knew I loved him. Ah. Well, our first date, I was telling Dad about this last night, wasn't I? Yes. Our first date, I knew that Mark was the man for me because he bought me 2 big bars of Cadbury's caramel. Okay. Oh, what sort of bike, Lorraine? And you wrapped him up in a big box, didn't you? Oh, yes. So lovely. Oh, I'm getting all romantic and all Valentine's-y.
Yeah.
That'd be a lovely story for the grandchildren, Ellie. I'm no good at magic. I can only do half it. Oh no, oh Jesus. Right, okay, I'll tell you what, let's just ignore Mel a minute, and let's I'm going to go backwards. So this is the way that I've cut, all right? So these are the pockets.
Don't you think someone's doing this?
No, I don't think anybody's doing it except me. And we're going to score, this. We've got 6 of these, and we're going to score on the 7.5 inch side at 1/2 inch, and the 7.25 inch side at 1/2 inch, and 6 3/4 inch. Okay, and they're all the same, those 6. We're not doing bants tonight, are we, Michelle? It's all too lovey-dovey and sweet and lovely. Yes, Lisa, look, 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 look. That'll make you happy, Mark.
What's that? Look
at Lisa's comment. Look. My card stock arrived this morning. Thank you. No pizza left in this box overnight. Right. Mark did those. That was Mark's idea, and he says nobody's noticed my stickers. He's very proud of those, as he should be. Yes, we thought it was quite funny. And the disturbing thing is, we actually quite like those boxes because they're really good quality. But I've ordered some plain ones now, so I don't know how long those are going to last. Right, 7.5 inch side at 1/2 inch, and the 7.25 inch side at 1/2 inch, and at 6 3/4 inch. And we're doing them all the same. So 1/2 inch on the 7.5 inch side. So that means putting the 7.5 inches at the top. Hi, Nikki. No, it's been ages. Oh, well, I'm glad you've made it tonight. We're telling silly jokes and talking about lovey-dovey love stuff and silly stories. So feel free to join in because we're not doing any work. Right, 1/2 inch and 6 3/4 inch. So what we've got is we've got this U-shaped score thing, and as you can tell, these are the pockets that go on the bottom of our pages. Okay, so we're scoring the 7.5 inch side at 1/2 inch, and the 7.25 inch side at 1/2 inch, and at 6 3/4 inch. And I'm nearly done. because we've got 6 of these to do and they're all exactly the same. So yeah, you'll have made his day, Lisa. I did make him use the corporate font though. After he designed them, and I said, well, that's lovely, darling, but that's not our corporate font, because I'm a bit pathetic like that.
Kate Armstrong says, just to let you know, your written instructions say 1 inch.
Which ones? Do they? I'm not doing that one yet. I've just done the cut 6 at 7 and I'm going backwards just to be awkward. I've just done the cut 6 at 7.5 by 7.25, and I've scored on the 7.5 inch side at 1/2 inch, and at 6 3/4 of an inch on the 7.25 inch side. Now what we've got are the top flaps, which are 5.5 by 6.25. I ain't promising this is right, mind. You could well be right.
Well, we got it in front of us, haven't we?
Okay, so we'll just have to see. You might well be right. Right, okay, so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to score on the 5.5 inch side a 1/2 inch. This has only got one score line because this is like dead easy. This is the top of the flap. Oh, Mel. That's a great joke, actually. I like that one. Oh, I missed Axel's. Axel got a joke. Why was the dog late for the movie? Because he lost his car. That would be a reason to be late for the movie. I'm not going to deny it, Axel. That would indeed be a reason to be late. Right, so on all of these, I'm scoring on the 5.5 inch side at 1/2 inch. Now, Kate, this might be the bit that you mean. This one is 10 by 3. This is one of the hinges, and I'm going to score on the 3 inch side, so 3 inches at the top. I'm going to score at 1 inch, 1.5 inches, and at 2 inches. So what we've got is we've got a hinge that's got these 3 parallel score lines in the middle, okay? And on the one that is 2.5 inches, we are going to score on the 2.5 inch side at 1 inch, 1.25 inches, and 1.5 inches. Oh yeah. It's been a long time since I made this, so I can't remember. So we're going to score at 1 inch on the 2.5 inch side, 1.25 inches, and 1.5 inches. So on these more narrow ones, we've got exactly the same. They're just 1/4 inch apart as opposed to 1/2 inch apart, okay? That is to make the gussets, Tracy. You're quite right. The one with the 7.5 and 7.25.
That says 1/2 inch.
No, 1/2 inch, lovely.
That's what it says on the instructions.
Although I have to say I haven't written them very well. Because I should have done it. I should have written it as score on the 7.5 inch side at 1/2 inch, and then I should have put on the 7.25 inch side at 1/2 inch and 6 3/4 inch. That would have made it a lot more understandable. And I hope you're all noticing that I've taken absolutely no notice of Mark explaining to me how to do the proper fractions, and if I had taken some notice of it, it might have been a whole lot easier to read. So will you show me again, dear, please? Because I've got nobody to blame but myself for that one. So you're quite right, Kate. Yeah, I know. Well, all right, you do it. Right, Kate. Right, now, these ones, which are the 4 at 10 by 6.25, they haven't got any score marks on. So put those to one side. And then this one should be 11 by 6 3/4, which miraculously it is. So I want you to score on the 6 3/4 inch side at 1/4 of an inch. Then turn it around 90 degrees, so we're now scoring on the 11-inch side, and we're going to score at 1/2 inch, and we're going to score at 10.5 inches. This is exactly what we did last week, because the base of this book is exactly the same as the base of the book that we did last week. I'm now on point 2, which is cut 2 at 11 by 6 3/4. So we're scoring on the 6 3/4 side at 1/2 inch, and turning it 90 degrees and scoring at 1/2 inch and at 10.5 inches. Okay, and then these last two pieces we're scoring on the 11-inch side at 1/2 inch and 10.5 inches, just like we did last week. Okay, right, so you can put your trimmer away for now, and you can put your scoreboard away for now if you've scored that properly, which I haven't. It's got a weird kink in it, a bit like Mel really. Right, okay. Bone folder. I'm going to use my big one. I'm glad I don't read this. Oh, Sandy, is that COVID related? Oh, I am sorry to hear that. That's never, ever, ever. There's never a good time for that. Right, so exactly the same as last week. I'm just folding those flaps over there, and we might as well get on with these two bits as well. And I'm going to, what am I going to do, ladies? Seeing as we've done gussets and flaps, what are we missing? Those are my rubbish scissors. Thank you, Tracy. A kinky mitre. Well done, Lorraine. Oh my goodness, you are learning fast. You can both have a gold star and be teacher's pet. Mel, you've lost that position. Oh, I finally remembered to drop Mel's kit down to her yesterday. I was only a week and a bit late. Right, so a bit of kinky mitring. If you haven't done it before.
We did do a fair swap though.
Yeah, we did do a fair swap because she gave us some straws.
Big straws.
Big straws. Actually, I don't know where they are.
Actually, I don't.
They must be in my hand. No, they can't be in my handbag.
Why have you met them?
No! God, I've got a frog in my throat. No, I haven't actually. Do you think it's likely to improve, Sandy? Is that something that you reckon you could get easily, you know, back into when things start improving? What the heck is a straub? Oh, Dee, you don't know the story of the straubs? Well,
No.
I don't generally like gummy sweets, I have to say. But I do like straubs, and they're by a company called Haribo who make gummy sweets. And straubs are big strawberries. They're big flat strawberries, and they're absolutely yummy. And I had some.
Christmas.
No, was it? No, it was before Christmas.
Was it?
Yeah. Well, no, it was before Christmas because I had some, but somebody ate them, didn't they? I remember it was because I fancied some gummy sweets, and I find it really hard to find gummy sweets that I can eat because I'm an idiot vegetarian, and most gummy sweets have got gelatin in, which isn't vegetarian. So straws and Haribo generally are vegetarian. So I was chuffed to bits to find that I could eat these. And I was really looking forward to them, and I discovered that somebody had eaten them. and it wasn't me. So lovely Jane sent us some strawberries at Christmas, didn't she? My poor sister felt so sorry for me. She bought me a great big box of strawberries. And Mel gave us some last night, but I genuinely don't know where they are.
Not going to be in your handbag.
No, because I had my handbag today. Right, okay, so have we done this now? This is the worst class ever. We're not getting anything done. Right, so I folded my flaps over on all of these, and now I've got these bits, which are the bits that haven't been scored because we don't need to. But if you remember last week, I said they need to fit nicely underneath the flaps without bowing, so they do need to be cut down a little. So there's 4 pieces here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut 2 of them down, sort of like top to bottom, just shave a little bit off, and I'll explain why. So I'm just going to just shave a little off. You can always shave off more, you can't put it back. And I'm going to pop that in there just to make sure that it fits before I start gluing down. All right, so that does fit now, so that when I glue those flaps on there, that's going to be flat, okay?
What's the difference between a mud man and a mud woman? Mud flaps.
I hope that wasn't one of Axel's jokes, Ellie. I don't know, Dee, that's what I'm wondering. So we only need, for these ones that have got the flaps at the top and the bottom, we only need to cut a bit off the sort of the length of those pages. So let's just make sure they both fit, which they do. But this one, these 2 that are left over, they're going to need to shave a little bit off the top. But we probably will need to shave a little bit off the side as well. So when I put that in there, it's going to be flat, but there's going to be a little bit over here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to glue it, and then I'm going to shave that little bit over that's over. I'm going to do that afterwards. Okay. Did I cut that down? I can't remember if I did or not. Yeah. Right. Okay, glue. Oh, crikey. Oh, here it is. Right.
It's all clean.
Yeah, but it's probably not got a hole in it. Let me poke it. Ugh. Right. So, let's put some glue. I'm going to put some glue on my flaps and make my flaps all sticky. Then I'm going to just slide this long piece underneath my sticky flaps, make sure it lines up, and then fold my sticky flaps over the top. I've been married to you for too long.
Not yet.
Oh, I've gone all hot and bothered. Right, so what I've got here is I've got my page, and it's got 2... both sides are open, okay? And I'm going to do that with both. So I'm just going to make my flaps sticky. Slide the long piece. Make sure that it's properly on side to side. And then make sure that that's stuck down. I'm usually such a good girl. You've corrupted me.
Yes.
Okay, right, now these pieces...
How long have we been married, dear?
Not long enough. Put some... Is that all? 6 years? Who's asking? Oh, 6 years. Been together for 10 though. Have we? Yeah, it's 10.
Nearly 10.
Yeah. Yeah, we were late starters, both of us. Takes a while to find Prince Charming, doesn't it, dear?
Yeah,
and you have found Prince Charming. Oh! Excuse me. Hate it when that happens.
Newlyweds, really.
Yeah, I know. Late bloomers.
Jane's been with Les for 32 years.
Wow. Can you imagine us being together for 32 years? How many packs of straws would that be?
What that you've eaten?
I haven't eaten as many as you. Actually, that's not true. I have.
Yeah.
That's
where they've gone.
I haven't. No, I haven't eaten those new. I haven't eaten the ones that Mel gave me.
These
Us.
been married for 34 years.
That's very impressive. If we can make it that long, I'll be impressed. At your tolerance, I mean, before you say anything.
Tracy's been married for 46 years.
Oh, I put this in all wrong. Wow. 46?
Lorraine, 37 years.
Good grief. Mind you, Mel's been married forever as well, hasn't she?
30, is it?
Mel's got a lovely romantic story, haven't you, Mel? Mel married her childhood sweetheart. So nice. Is he listening tonight, Mel? Right, I'm just going to trim that little bit off that I don't want on the edges there.
Married 20, together for 30.
Wow.
Oh, David's just appeared.
Oh, hi, David. You've missed
Everything.
everything, yes.
Sally, 50 years in July.
No way. Good grief.
And Jane Brown says she's just finished scoring.
Scoring what? Is she out on the
Everything.
pull? Oh, the book. I thought you meant she was out on the pull. Right, okay, so I've got my four bits here. So I've got two which have got, they're enclosed on three sides and open on one. And I've got two which are open on these both sides. So let's put this book together before we put the pockets on, and then it'll make sense as to how you put the other one together. Right, so we've got these hinges, okay? We've got one that's got 1/2 inch score marks, and we've got two that have got 1/4 inch score marks. So what I want you to do first of all is a little bit of mitering, okay? You've missed a conversation about straws.
Big straws.
Big straws, and we're doing all the romantic Valentine's rubbish. But we've heard some lovely stories that are just so romantic. So what I've done is I've just mitered these bits here. So what I've done is I've cut up to where those score lines are. You see, these are the 1/4 inch gussets here. So I've cut from the edge just straight up so that this bit at the top is flat, okay? And I'm going to do the same on all of them, no matter how wide the gusset, they all need mitering in the same way. Okay. You don't have to be precious about this or get it at a particular angle. It's just about helping it easily slip into the hole, shall we say. Right, okay, so what I'm going to do first is I've got this one. This is one of the pages that is enclosed on three sides and open on one. This gusset, and this is exactly the same on every book, right? Okay, this is the hinge that's got the 1/4 inch gussets. And what we're going to do is, and I'll tell you why I'm doing it this way, is I've got my page here and I've got the flaps pointing upwards, okay? On my hinge, I've got it. So this is the valley fold and that is the mountain fold, okay? So I've got the valley fold pointing upwards. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to pop that hinge into here, into this gap, And I'm going to just, first of all, make sure that it is the right length. Now, we just need to cut mine down just a smidge. You might have to cut yours down a smidge. You might not have to. It just depends. But I'm just going to cut it down a tiny bit just to make sure that it fits perfectly into that open part of the book, okay? So if you made the Falala folio, if you made the 12 by 12 scrapbook folio, if you made the Lost in Paradise folio, or any folios, they're all made in the same way, okay? So we've got our hinge, and I've just slipped it into that page there, just to make sure that it fits. So I've got my valley fold here, I've got my flaps pointing upwards. If I turn it over, I've got my nice flat bit of the book here, and I've got my mountain scores on that side, okay? So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to put some glue on both sides of this hinge up to that first score line, okay? I'm going to put it on both sides because this is going to enclose that page. It's going to close it up for us, okay? So I've got glue on both sides up to that first score line, more or less. I'm going to slip that inside that opening there, like that, up to that first score line, and I'm going to close that down. Okay, so what I've got now is I've got my page and I've got that first hinge, and it's enclosed that page, but on this side you can see this is the flat bit, that's the hinge there, okay? Now I'm going to take one of the pages that is open on both sides, and I'm going to work on the same side. So I'm going to work on the flap side up, and I'm going, because the flap side up is here, and I'm going to slip that bit of the hinge, that half, into there, and make sure it just fits before I glue it down, because I might need to trim it because that's not straight. That's mainly why I have to trim it. Idiot that I am. So let's slip that in there, make sure that fits, which it does. And I'm going to do exactly the same. I'm going to put glue on both sides up to where that score line is. For those of you who haven't done this before, is this making sense to you? Are you all right with this? This is the simplest form of hinge I think we can, well, it's not, but it is nearly the simplest form of hinge that I think we can do, okay? It's really not difficult. So I've got my page here that's got the two open bits. This is flap side up, flap side up.
Lisa's just toasted her crumpets.
That's very nice. We had cheese muffins for breakfast, didn't we? And they were lovely.
We had crumpets yesterday.
Yeah, we did. So I'm just going to now add in that page up to where my score line is. So what I've got is I've got my enclosed page, I've got a page here, and I've got my hinges. And that is one of the 1/4 of an inch hinge, okay? Now, we're not going to fold it yet because we don't need to, and I want to kind of keep it flat until it's dried a bit more. But now, the middle of our book, this next hinge, is the one with the 1/2 inch scores in, okay? And we're going to pop that in exactly the same way. My card, Nicole, it's about 240 GSM, which is well, we call it 4 sheet because it's about four sheets of paper thick. It's not too thick, it's about 80-90 pound cardstock, but in the UK I think you'd say it's somewhere between 220 240 GSM. Okay, now we're gonna just have this, make sure it fits for size. So I've got my open bit here, I'm going to pop this in, and I've got my valley score here, which means this is my mountain score, okay? So the valley is the bit that dips, obviously. That's going to just pop in there like that, okay? And that fits perfectly. I'm very happy with that. So once again, I'm going to do exactly the same. And I'm going to put some glue on my hinge on both sides up to that first score line. Both sides, because this is going to enclose our page. And I'm going to slip that in there up to that score line. So what I've got now is I've got my fully enclosed page here. I've got a narrow hinge with gussets, with the narrow gussets. I've got my page that is now totally enclosed with the wider gusset here. So the next page that I need to attach is the second one that is open on two sides, okay? So flap side up, I'm going to just slip it on and make sure it fits, which, you know, could do with a bit of a trim. So that's why I'm going to do this at a bit of an angle, because then you can't tell that it's longer on one side than the other, if you see what I mean. So let's pop that in there. Yep, I'm happy with that. So I'm going to put some glue onto this hinge up to where that score line is. On both sides. And I'm going to slip this page on, and this is the page that's got two open sides. Okay, so let's slip that up to the first score line. And just close that in. Use your bone folder if you want to. It just makes sure that you've got a really good sort of stick going on. Okay, so last piece. My last hinge is the one that's got the narrow gusset. So I'm going to pop it in here. Check it for size. Might need to just trim that a tiny bit. Not much. Remember, you can always take more off. You can't put some back. So little tiny bits at a time. Yep, very happy with that. So I'm going to put some glue onto both sides of that hinge.
Jane says, will it matter? I've got two colours of black card.
Have you? What, in the thing that I sent you? You're not going to tell me that I've sent you my last bit of black card? You're very lucky if I have. I thought it was all charcoal that I'd sent out, the sort of the light black card. I still haven't heard anything more about... I mean, it won't matter because you'll cover it up. But I can't believe, if I've sent you my best card, I'm going to be really peed off.
Saving it.
Huh?
You were saving that.
I was saving it. That's the last bit. Right. Last page. Flap side up. Make sure it fits. It does perfectly. I'm going to pop in the glue on both sides. As you can tell, I do this with the utmost care. Pop that in up to the score line. Make sure it's straight. That'll be a miracle. Right, okay, so for those of you who haven't put a book together before like this, are we all happy? Does that make sense? Because what we've got now is a very long book, which is this. This is this. And it's exactly the same for... Will you stop telling jokes because you're distracting me? For the stack pocket book, okay? It's exactly the same the way that you put it together. If you've got any problems and you get stuck, just let me know. No, that's perfect, Nicole. That will be absolutely perfect. Although if you're making this book, I will warn you that it uses a lot of card with the box and everything. I used somewhere in the region of about 60 sheets of A4. So what we've got now here is our book. Now I'm going to fold mine just to give you an idea. So this is my middle bit of my book. Okay, so I'm going to fold that. And then I'm going to fold on the middle gusset here. And I'm going to fold that over on the middle gusset there. So that is my book. And they're all exactly the same. Okay, so that is the base of the book. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to make all of these pockets and the flaps to go over the pockets, okay? So I've got my 6 flaps, which have just got 1 score mark on them. So I'm just going to fold on all of those, hopefully properly. And I'm going to burnish them in a minute. So I've got 6 of these. So I'm just going to burnish because I want a nice sharp crease. If you want to curve your edges with your corner punch, then do, by all means. Now, I did mention in passing when I put the cutting guide up that if you're not using this as a recipe book and you're using it for, I don't know, a holiday or a wedding, Ellie, or something like that, you know, basically you can make this in any combination of you know, the 2 styles of books that you like. You can, of course, mix up the stack pockets and these envelope style pockets all on one book, because the measurements are all the same. It doesn't change. They're all absolutely identical. So if you want to make a book that's partially pockets, partially stack pockets, you can do that. It doesn't matter. You can put stack pockets wherever you like. You can put the flapped pockets wherever you like. It doesn't matter, okay? The only thing that is going to matter is to think about where you're going to put stuff. So this is my book. That is going to be my front cover, and that is going to be my back. So personally speaking, on this particular project, I'm not adding any flaps or pockets to the front or the back. So when I open up my book, I'm going to see these 2 pages. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to add, just because it's easy, quick, and I'm here, I'm going to put a little bit of glue onto that flap, and I'm going to add it to the very top of that page, okay? So
Carl says, if you only sets left, I'll buy my black card A3 in bulk, very good quality for scoring. I do like black.
Well, do you know what? I mean, my black card is absolutely fantastic. I think it's absolutely second to none. Unfortunately, during the first lockdown, the mill that makes it actually couldn't make anything. So they have restarted production, and we understood that they were going to start production of their black card in November, but at the moment they haven't started production of it at all, despite my wholesaler and I having plenty to say on the matter. So this sort of this is black card. It's absolutely black, but I call it charcoal because it's not as black as my black card. It's identical in quality. It's absolutely fantastic. It's just not quite as black. But you can't tell that. I think we've been spoilt so much by the black card that nothing comes close anymore, does it? That's probably the way to describe it. So whilst this is excellent card, it's just marginally lighter than the black, so that's why I call it charcoal. But yeah, I mean, if you can find a card that scores well, I've only ever known one bad batch that hasn't scored and folded right without cracking in years and years and years of using it. So yeah, I mean, card is so important. Right, so I put my flaps on there. So now when I open up my book, what I'm going to do is I'm going to put the flaps along these 4 here as well. So what I'm doing now is I've opened up my book, so I've just put those 2 flaps on, okay? And now I've opened it up again, and I'm going to put these 4 flaps on now, and then I'm going to go back and do the pockets, these pockets that go here, okay? But like I said, you can use any combination in this book, you know, this set of books. The measurements are all the same, so you know you can use your stack pockets, you can use your envelope pockets, all in one book or any combination thereof. Sorry, my darling, were you going to say something?
Yeah. Do you have any kids left? You do, don't you?
I do. I think there are a couple left. Yes, absolutely. They're in the shop.
Yeah,
if you find the link, darling, that'd be great. But I do. If you're going to get one Nicole, I'll make sure yours gets sent with DPD so that you get an exact time for it. I think they're far better from that point of view than any other courier, without a doubt. Okay, so I'm just adding those envelope flaps up to the top of each of my pages. I know this is upside down and it looks like the bottom of the page, but it is the top. It's just so I can see what I'm doing.
I think in the kit there's probably close on to twice as much card as you need, isn't there?
Yeah, when I say I use 60 sheets, that's a maximum, I would say, but there's 100 sheets of my special card in the pack. And considering most of my other books, I say we use about 40 sheets. You've got enough for another book of your choice in there. But I just didn't want anybody to worry and go, you know, feel that they had to scrimp on the card, on the base card for this, because I think it's really, this should be an enjoyable experience. And if you're worrying all the time about how much base card you're using, I just didn't want anybody to do that, because it is quite an intensive project from that point of view. Okay, so what we've got left are our 6 pieces, which are our pockets, okay? And these are the ones that have got the U-shape score marks. We've made these lots and lots of times before, exactly like the first pockets that we put on the, you know, the bottom pockets of the stack pockets. So what I'm going to do, Mel, is I'm going to kinky mitre.
Kim says hi, she's on the road, we'll check with you later.
Oh, hi, Kim. Kim.
Kim RJ.
Yes, Kim. I will message you tomorrow. Sorry, things got a bit out of hand this week, as you know, but I haven't forgotten that I need to message you, so I'll do that for you tomorrow. Right, okay, so I'm just kinky mitering all of my bottom pockets. There should be 6 of them.
Karen says she's used about 60 sheets on the last week's 4 books.
Yeah, it is quite... well, now you see exactly why I put so much card in these kits.
There's always too much.
There is always too much, but there's particularly too much. But you should have enough to make another book of your choice, I reckon. And we've bought in bulk, which means that we've been able to, you know, offer this card at so much of a better price to you. Because I do love it. I think it's a great card. I can't wait for them to start, you know, doing the black again. Okay, right, so I've kinky mitered all of those. What I'm going to do now is I'm just going to fold on those score lines to make my pockets. These are simple pockets. We have made them many times before. Now, if we've got time, what I will do at the end is I don't know if I might have to think about it, but I could show you how to make an accordion pocket, which, if you've got a lot of bits to go in, might be quite good. And I'll tell you what I would do if I wanted to make a wider pocket. We'll see how we go. If I don't get time tonight, I'll make a little video and pop it in the group for you. But if you've got a lot of memorabilia maybe from a trip that you want to put in and the pockets are just too thin, because these are just designed to put cuttings in, really, then okay, so that's my base pocket. So basically it's just really simple. It's a pocket and it's got 3 sides. I'm just going to make sure this is the right size. Yes, thank goodness. It's just so it is just a base, really easy base pocket that's got 3 flaps on it that will attach to the book. Okay, so I'm just going to burnish those. Hold on to that one. I know. I'm all hot.
I know, it's making me
Whew. I don't know why I haven't got muscly arms. Okay, so those are my pockets. Right, so now I'm going to attach one of these pockets underneath each of these envelope flaps. So,
that was going to work out tonight.
yes. Here's my pocket. Open up that envelope flap, and that is going to fit at the very bottom of the page like that, so that we can pop our cuttings in there, okay? So I'm going to add some glue to my flaps, because they've got to be sticky, otherwise they're fairly pointless. And I'm just going to attach that to the very bottom of my page, and it will fit perfectly at the bottom and side to side. Okay? So glue that on and make sure that that's stuck. Okay, so that is my pocket with a flap. And I'm now going to attach one of these underneath every envelope top that we've put in our book. So as far as the internal books of the box go, that's them complete. You can decorate them up if you want to, or you can wait until we've made the box. Entirely up to you. We'll start making the box next week, and I will warn you now, if you have had a kit, look at your grey board before we start, because you will see that one piece of grey board is marginally thinner than the rest. So I think you've got 4 pieces of 1500 micron, 1.5 millimeter chipboard, but you've got one piece of 1 millimeter, 1000 micron chipboard. Okay? I'm just warning you now before we start next week.
Nicole, can you tell her the length?
The length of what?
Tracy asked, is there room for an accordion pocket?
Right, I will show you how I do them in a moment. Okay, so let me get these in, and I'll show you how I do it.
Sorry, I'm late.
You what, sorry?
Celia, sorry, I'm late.
Well, we'll let you off.
Not quite finished.
Nearly.
Not quite. First thing's going to use for a caliper.
Ooh.
Mine's downstairs because I use mine.
Yes, we did. We
the
were using it the other day to pack off. Now, if I show you how to do this accordion pocket, I will warn you that I haven't written down any measurements. So I'm going to have to think about it.
Ellie says, what's the difference between ooh and ah?
I don't know.
About 3 inches.
Oh, for goodness sake, I hope Axel's gone to bed. You know why women can't park cars? Just be careful, darling, you're outnumbered. Because men tell them that that's 6 inches. I can't believe I just told the people that. I'm a nice girl. Just don't even go there. I'm trying to have a nice evening crafting. And you're just
letters.
Bringing it down.
What are they, the lettering?
They're altered new ones, and they're old, and I'm not sure you can get them anymore.
But what height are they?
I don't know. Oh, that's centimetres. It varies, but it's about 1 inch to 1.5 inches. Yeah, they're about 1.25 inches. The height of the letters, you mean? The M is 1.25 inches. Okay. No, they're not. No, because the iron stuff isn't. Okay, right, so that's the book. Needs a bit of a stick properly. So when we open it up, we've got our 2 and then we've got the 4. Okay? Right, now. Oh, squidgy down. An accordion pocket. If I was making an accordion pocket to go on this, you might have to write this down, dear. You what, sorry?
What size is the D? Ellie asks. Don't ask. I don't know.
I'm not even going to answer that. Right, so what I'm going to do is I'm just going to, because I have to think about this a minute. It needs to be 6 1/4, 7 1/4, 8 1/4. Okay, so this is English A4, so that's 8 1/4 inches. I'm just going to cut it at 7 1/2, which was the height that we had before. Grab my scoreboard. I'm going to score on the 7 1/2 inch side at 1/2 inch. And then, I'm going to have to think about this, score at 1/2 inch, 1 inch. Just let me think a minute. Where's my ruler? Oh, there it is. Right, so ideally it should be another inch wider, this paper. I should have done it that way around. Right, okay, right. Right, grab a piece of A4 and cut it at 7 1/2 inches. Yeah, 7 1/2 inches by 9 1/4 inches. They're all over the place. Okay, right, so this is 7 1/4 by 7 1/2. 7 1/2 by 9 1/4. So score on the 7 1/2 inch side at 1/2 inch. And then score on the 9 1/4 inch side at 1/2 inch, 1 inch, and 1 1/2 inches. And then I want you to score at 7 3/4, 8 and a. No, that's not right.
We've got to work backwards, haven't we? From 9 1/4.
Yeah.
So it's 8 3/4.
So it. Yeah, 8 3/4, 8 1/4, and 7 3/4. Yeah. So what you've got is that needs to be 6 3/4, 6 1/4. Yeah, that's right. So what you've got here is you've got 3 1/2 inch gussets on that side and 3 1/2 inch gussets on that side, and then the 1/2 inch one on the bottom there. Okay. Now what I want you to do is I want you to just snip up to there and then across like that. Okay, and now we're going to fold. So we're going to fold that one as it is and then fold in these, but you're going to accordion fold them like that. Okay. So fold it inwards towards the back of your pocket and then fold it on an accordion like that, okay? So if I were to put this, I'm going to put it on here now, okay, to show you. So what I've got is, I've got my, where's my bone folder? I've got my pocket. Which has got these weird folds in it. I'm just going to mitre that a bit more. It's a bit more of an angle. So what I've got here is I've got my pocket, but it's got these accordion folds in at the sides here, okay? And then just one fold at the bottom. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to attach this to my book in exactly the same way as I always do. So I'm going to put some glue on that bottom flap there. But because of the way that we've mitered this bit, obviously we've got that gap there, but I'm just going to put glue on that flap, that top flap like that, okay? And just bear in mind that if you use lots of these, it's going to make your book quite wide and the box is quite specific in size. So now I'm going to lay that pocket down on the front like that and just glue it like we would a normal pocket. Are you all with me so far? Okay. Hold on. With you in a minute. Right, so now what I've got is I've got a pocket that will expand a little bit so I can put more in it. Okay? Now, I could just put a simple flap over the top, but the trouble is with that is that it's going to be a bit flat. So if I was going to put a flap over the top, I would do it slightly differently. Now this is a bit short, but I'm just going to oh no, but it do it. How big were our top pocket, the top flaps? 7. It was 5.5 by 6 1/4, wasn't it?
Okay.
So I'm going to make this 6 1/4 by 5 3/4. We will write this up for you and put it in the group, okay? But like I said, just bear in mind, if you're going to do lots of these, you have to be a little bit careful because it will add a lot of bulk to your book. So I'm going to cut this at 5 3/4. Hold on. We really need to get this sorted. 5 3/4 by 6 1/4. 6 1/4 being the width of our pocket. Now,
this is like an addition to the normal.
this is, yeah, this is. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to make this flat, but I'm going to make it with a bit of an extra gusset in. So I'm going to score on the 5 3/4 inch side at 1/2 inch. Pardon me, and at 3/4 of an inch. Okay, you know where I'm going with this if you've made books with me before. So I've got those 2 parallel marks there. So I'm going to just fold like that. So I've got that shape, and I'm going to attach this like that, so that my envelope top, that flap, has got a gusset in it, which means that it will fit better on top of that accordion pocket. So if I had an accordion pocket, I would be quite inclined when I have my closure to make a closure for this. So whether it would be, you know, like, I don't know, a cut apart and a magnet, I'd be much more inclined to put something quite solid on it. So there you can see we've got this pocket now that's got a bit more give in it, but it's still nice and sharp at the bottom. I'm just wondering how much of this is getting in shot at the moment because I can't see. let's put it this way. So what I've got, so I've got my pocket that's got a little bit more give here. I've got my flap that goes over the top that's got a little bit more give in it. And then we've got our nice tapering edge down the bottom. Okay?
John, I didn't ask that when we decorate the books, are we better using the 8x8 papers or the 12x12?
I've used an absolute mix. I've used a big mix of them. I used 12x12 paper for the box. Now, hold on. Oh dear. Sub box stuff. Right, I need to cut that all up. Now, the box, oh God, which I've just knackered. Right, let's just take these out. Right, the box, okay, which we'll start making next week. I've used 12x12 papers. So I can't remember who it was. I think it might have been Sandy asked me about how many sheets I'd used. What I did was actually when I made the project, I made the box. No, I didn't make the box first. I must have made the project and then decorated it, but I decorated the box first so that I could choose my favourite papers, basically. So what I did, yours will be a lot tidier. I figured out a much tidier way to do this, so just ignore the mess of mine, okay? So I used, if you've got the kit, you've got 2 packs of 12x12 paper. And this is deliberate so that you've got plenty so that you can make your book. And your box, cover that. So I've actually covered all of the outside of the box in that one, which was my favourite, and the underside as well. Okay. Now inside, I've just covered it with black cardstock because who looks at that at the end of the day? They don't. That's not the interesting bit. The interesting bit is the books. So that's why I've focused on the books from that point of view. The lid, I've done exactly the same way. Now, I think you'll probably only need 1 sheet for the lid, but I'd rather just say, you know, you keep 2 to one side because then you've got plenty. All right. So, and I've just put some little flowers in the top because why not? In fact, I shaped those. I'll show you how I did it when we come to decorate. So it is a really, really solid box. It's not thin, but it's been strengthened because I've used black cardstock on it. Okay, so that's the box, and it does fit together. But you've got, as I said, you've got the thin piece of chipboard, and that's what's going to form this lip. Okay, we're going to do it slightly differently than the way I've done this one because I thought of a better way to do it. But it's quite a.
Let me measure your P. It's 7/8.
Yeah. But so just be really careful next week when we start to make the box that you make sure that you put your 1mm cardstock, the one that is marginally thinner, to one side. Okay, that's really important. Right, so I've used 12x12 on my on the outside of my box, and I kept my 2 favourite sheets of each for that. Okay, now with regard to the rest of the books, what I've done is I've used 12x12 on the outside of each of them. Okay, so I've used 12x12 there, I've used 12x12 there, I've used 12x12 there, and so on and so forth. Okay, now when it comes to inside, it's been a mixture of 12x12 and 8x8. Now, I did mention last week that what I didn't do was I didn't decorate these bits up because once you put your cards in, whether they're postcards or recipe cards or whatever, you don't see it. So if it doesn't matter if you don't cover that. But if that really bothers you, you probably have got enough paper to do that. Certainly out of the 8x8, I would have thought, but I'd leave that till last to make sure. But I just didn't see the point of covering something in pattern paper that essentially will spend most of its life covered up. But I did cover the bottom, and I did cover this top bit. The other thing that I did think of doing, if it really does bother you, is you could just use little elements either out of the papers, cut out elements and glue them on, or of course you do have a pack of die cuts, you know, which you can use. You've also got these little tickets. You've got some, what I've done here on each of my decorated bits is, and this is the same in each book, I've kind of tried to follow it through. You'll see this on the, when you open up your book, on the right hand side, hi Rizwana, each page has got, these are some of the die cuts, or I fussy cut, there's a 12 by 12 sheet in the kit, which has got an awful lot of watercolor images on it, and I fussy cut all of those out. And we've got the die cuts as well. You've got an awful lot of stuff that you can use, because I cut out as well. You've got a sheet of 8 by 8 tickets. You've got a sheet of these little envelopes. So I've cut out the envelopes, and I've made sure that what I've done is I've put one on each side, and then I've filled it up with, you know, like these are off the 12 by 12 sheet that I fussy cut. That's one of the die cut pieces, and I've done that on each one. Okay. Ah, there it is.
What is?
That's the bit that I lost.
Ah, okay.
Okay. So that's how I've decorated it, just to give you a bit of a heads up. Now, in some places you'll see that I've mixed, like this is, I think this is the 8 by 8, but because it was short, because I've cut something else out for it, I can't remember. What I've done is I've taken another piece of paper and I've just, bodged it. I've just made it, but it all fits. You wouldn't know that, would you? I'm a great believer in just using different bits of paper for different places. So you've got that sort of look where it all kind of gels together. But I've used just a scraps and odds and ends of papers just to fill in the gaps there. So I hope that makes sense for everybody. I've called, I don't know. I mean, I just grabbed my dies to put names on it. The reason why I haven't included any letters or anything like that in your kit is it was getting a bit expensive, but also because I don't know what you want to use these books for. You might decide, I mean, I put entree, we should have an S on it because I couldn't fit starters on with my dies, you know, sweets, mains, baking, and then of course there's the miscellaneous even for this one. But you might want to call it something different. You might be massive meat eaters, so you might want to call one of your books, you know, meat dishes, or you might be vegan, so you want to call, you know, I don't know, it just seems so wrong to put in any sort of lettering. But you could use thickers, you can use dyes, you know, it doesn't matter. But I wasn't about to tell you what you should name your books, because this is a personal project, and I think recipes, you know, as you saw when I showed you my family recipe book, is very personal to a family. So I wasn't going to, you know, to start telling you what to do. No, Tracy, I'm not. And the reason that I'm not is just because, even though I'm going to get all these filled in with our family recipes, most of the time these recipe cards will remain in this book. That they will, because that's just the nature of the beast. I didn't feel any need, and I don't think it looks bad. I don't think it looks unfinished, personally speaking. You know, most of these recipe cards will stay in here. Now, if you've had a kit, I hope to goodness, because I did get a bit confused in the middle. But thanks to Jill Newton, we managed to source some little plastic covers for these recipe cards. And I'm not sure if mine's up here. Yeah, you should have had one of these in your kit as well, which is, you know, this little plastic cover, which your recipe card will fit into, because my thinking was this. This is a project that you will want to keep out for people to look at. It can become a family heirloom, and that's lovely. But if you're baking, well, I'll tell you what, today I made our favourite. I made pear and ginger trifle, and I was whipping the cream for the top of the trifle, and to say there was as much snow in the house as there was outside of the house would be an understatement. Basically, I don't know what happened, but this cream got everywhere. It was all up the wall. I didn't mention that bit. I forgot to tell you I got it up the wall. Anyway, I've cleaned it up now. It was all over the kettle. It was all over the sink. It was all up the water bottle. It was everywhere. So you don't want that for your recipe book. You want to keep that nice and tidy. So if you're a cook like me at all, you'll make a mess. So my thinking was, if I wanted to make pear and ginger trifle, which is what I might have on this recipe card, to protect it whilst it's out of my book, I can put it in this little plastic cover. So I can then take this into the kitchen, follow the instructions, keep it clean, keep it tidy, and go and put it back in my recipe book when I'm finished, and it'll still stay in pristine condition. That was the theory behind these little plastic wallets, okay? So it means that you can have your book out on display and you don't need to cover it in bits of whipped cream like I did this afternoon. So I hope there's a little bit of logic in there. So you should have a little plastic cover as well. Right, I hope that's helped. Quite a long class tonight, I apologise profusely. Mark and I will sort out the measurements for the accordion pocket. Now you know how to make that, and we'll put that in the group. Oh, thank you, darling. I'll write those up and I'll pop them in the group as well. I will show you the recipe, Karen, with pleasure. It's so easy, but it is yum, isn't it? It is really lovely, and it's so easy. So yeah, I'll share that in the group as well. That can be my offering to your recipe books. So I hope that explains a little bit about my thinking behind the books and how they would work, and I hope that's been helpful. But as you remember last week, we said, you know, it doesn't have to be recipes. You can use it for weddings, holidays, bar mitzvahs, I don't know, whatever you like. Where's that come from? Bit of rubbish.
And it says, I'll forgive you if you mention class again.
Oh, thank you. Yes, guys, Saturday at 2 o'clock. Make sure that you're here in the group, because wonderful Ellie is going to be debuting, and what Ellie's done is she's taken that little hinged ring mini that we made a long time ago, and she's done something spectacular with it. She has made it into a stand-up desk picture, which I think is rather clever, and we're going to be doing that at 2 o'clock on Saturday here in Paper Scissors Story. It'll be exactly the same process as usual. We're going to try it so that I'm introducing Ellie, but I'm not convinced it's going to work. But Ellie will be taking the class, and be gentle with her because I think it's her first time teaching. So it's going to be loads of fun. So Mark and I will do what Mark usually does for me. We'll run the chat, and Ellie is going to be teaching the class, and I'm really excited about that. I've got the resources list. I will put that up for you. If not tonight, it will be tomorrow morning. So don't forget to join us at 2 o'clock on Saturday, and I'm really looking forward to that. It's going to be loads of fun. All right, guys, so if you're doing the Valentine's book, we'll see you on Friday. Otherwise, we'll see you at Saturday at 2 o'clock back in here, and we'll see you next Wednesday where we will start the box. All right, guys, lots of love to you all. Thank you so much for all your support over the last week or so. Mark and I have really appreciated it very much. And we haven't read your messages yet, but we will. We'll read every single one of them. But we just wanted to say thank you because your kindness has been absolutely overwhelming. So lots of love from us, and we'll see you guys all soon. Bye.